Good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Diaspora with the MANATSAS. I'm MANATSA and I'm here with...
Ingoita yonoita mazoezi mukadzi wangu because season yeso ningochitongoni introduce ndini baba.
Vanofana kuziva kuti munonzani.
Auzistara. Taura ingo do the honors.
I'm here with Sextag Manatsa. And tonight we are privileged to have Munashe Chirisa. Am I saying it right?
No.
You said it perfectly.
Right. It's Munashe, just Munashe.
Okay, just Munashe.
That's that. If I must say that was just.
Munashe, just Munashe, like Yeko Bond, Bond, James.
It's James Bond.
Yeah.
No, it's just.
It's just.
Munashe, just Munashe.
This is the reason why we have this guy here in us. He's one of the dopest and coolest comedians we have here in the UK.
Thank you very much.
Obviously, for those who don't know you, we know you as an actor. Dancers. He's an actor, dancer, comedian, TV presenter.
You know what? Back in the day, right? If depending on your age group and when you left Zimbabwe, do you remember Chipao and them kind of items?
You lie. You lie.
Welcome to Chipao.
Them kind of dances.
Seriously?
I dance, man.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, I remember those days. I remember watching Chipao,
but I think statement
No, I'm being for real. Okay, you know what? Most people who went to school with me, high school in Zimbabwe, would actually tell you, people knew me as a dancer more than anything. You know, at school when there's like a sports function and people are playing at home and halftime, I went to that halftime entertainment. I was that I was that. What you mean?
You were the man of the moment.
I'm telling you.
Amazing. So who is Munashe? I mean, tell us, who is he? Where did he come from? Everything. Just lay it out for us.
Okay. I'll keep it brief.
Yeah.
Brief. I am a multidisciplinary performance artist.
Okay.
So I dabble in little bits of this and that.
Yeah.
I'm a jack of all trades. Master of some.
There's no need to throw any philosophy, philanthropy.
I'm a multidisciplinary performance artist now. No, so I'm a performance artist, I guess, is the best word to describe me by. Like you said, you know, I act. Most people know me as a comedian within, you know, especially the Zimbabwean circles of things. Right. But yeah, from time to time, I don't know if I can add music to my bio, musician to my bio now.
I just had a dope track,
I don't know.
There's Maiden's Way. And I saw a Chido track.
Yeah. He was acting in there and everything, playing his bars as well. So he's just said, what's the word that is? Multidisciplinary what?
Performing
artist. It's a big CV.
Young kids, from now onwards, from today onwards, I'm a multidisciplinarist DJ.
Disco. What is it? Discography. Disciplinarist. No. I thought I heard discography, something multi-discography.
Multi-discord. No, man.
And is it something that you've always done then since a young age? Or is it something that you started doing after coming to the UK? When did it all start? What was the inspiration?
I think now, like, I get moments where from time to time I have these memories and I'm like, oh, snap. And then the moment always keeps shifting, like as to when did I kind of start thingy-majiggy, acting and the whole performance and being like an artist and whatnot. But I think I've kind of always enjoyed performing and entertaining people. I think from like nursery school, you know, the Christmas play. I was lucky enough to play Joseph, and Joseph was like the main guy in there. You know, he's walking around with these, you know, with these wives, these pregnant wives, like you know. I wrote my first play in grade 7 when I was 12 years old. It was around stigmatization, HIV, because I was heavily involved in some of these like youth workshops where peer counseling thingamajigs, where they get students in a certain district, province, and you know, those just AIDS awareness initiatives. I got an opportunity to sort of write something back then. And in high school, I've always participated in inter-house drama competitions and the annual drama in the school play, but I think I've always enjoyed acting more than anything. I was heavily involved in public speaking and debate. I mean, from primary school as well through to high school. So I'd always been comfortable in front of an audience, and
the way that Munashe is saying it, I like how he's playing it cool and whatnot, as if we've been following you around. You're one of the few Zimbabwean, UK-based Zimbabwean comedians or actors that could represent the flag. You're lifting, you're raising the flag. Ndakaona advert Amazon. Uchiuka so chimuchi baby, so chimurungu, so uchichidaidza, yeah. What's going on? Tell us more about it. I saw that advert Amazon. I know you've got a few people that a number of people that you're working with.
So you know what's actually crazy about that Amazon advert? Like, I mean, to everyone, to you know, Zimbabweans, and everyone was like, we saw you on TV, and everyone was like, we saw you on TV, but then because it was a massive campaign and it was like distributed worldwide online because they give you these territories on where it's going to be playing on TV and blah blah blah. And I was following the online campaign where they do like the sponsored ads on some of like the YouTube one and the Instagram ones, and there was actually so much controversy around that.
Really?
Yeah, because just that act of, you see what you're saying about when I do that, people are like, I think that's very distasteful of them. Why do they have to use the black actor? What are they trying to insinuate with the gun? And then there were some people in like Canada like, we always seen this on TV, man. Black Lives Matter, what is this? And I was like, what?
Now you see how things
it was
can
crazy.
be easily twisted.
Wow.
It was actually so crazy, I couldn't believe it. And I think because the same ones that they did, it was the first rollout of that concept, of that, the ads where they take a series that Amazon is producing, one of their flagship series. Marvelous Miss Maisel was the one that I did. They had one called Hannah, Vikings as well, some people might know, and the Tom Clancy one. So all of these other ones, because it was such a dope concept, and they ran on for like 2 years.
Wow.
They got renewed. So what happens with that is like you get a chunk of money, a buyout for usage for 1 year.
Are you serious?
Right? And then when that year finishes and they take it on
Mira, hold on. You don't mind to fara, to base up.
Just a little chunk. But it only ran for a year because all of these other ones, because when they do it after 12 months, they have to pay again because the contract's finished.
Yeah.
And all of the other ones got renewed except for that one. They cut it.
Just because of comments.
Because I mean, it costs.
Yeah.
Because these are massive campaigns.
Yes.
It's on television in like 4 countries, and it's on prime time hours as well.
Exactly.
So they're like, if it's not connecting like that.
Saka takatokuvharira panze. Well, at least you know kuti una vasi vanhu vekwako vakuvharira panze. Vamwe vanhu verudzi rumwe vakuvharira panze.
Lost in translation.
It happens.
But did you know, I was reading his profile. This guy actually went to school and he went to study biochemical sciences, and then he went to do the performing arts school. Well, how come you went to do that? I'm just thinking, because you said, well, you've done this for a long time. You've always wanted to, you know, show actor and comedy. So when did this biochemical, chemistry come into play?
Well, it was actually biomedical science. But I get what you mean. When you come to England from Zimbabwe, you just have mentality of, hey, hey, you know what I mean? So, and I know moms, you know how it is just in our culture and how it is, kuti, people just have this big importance they place on education, and I get it, and I was a proponent of that. That's why I didn't fight it when I got there. But you know, even when I was selecting which schools I go to, I was going to colleges, getting my prospectus and whatnot. And I remember reading one college one, and I saw performance arts, and I was like, but mama, and then she looks at it, she's like, Aiwa. I'm from my A-levels. My A-levels. Okay, cool.
The way you're saying it, you akatoirowa kosi akatoipedza.
So let me tell you what I did. So I got there and I start the course in the Tanga, boom. And it's first year biology. It's biomedical science. It's pretty much like a foundational kind of year. And I'd always kind of been all right in biology. It was, me in biology, yeah. And I had this guy who was a broadcast journalist student. And they were working on, I was at Nottingham Trent University, and they had a Trent radio thingamajig, and they were talking about trying to do Trent TV. And just, he lived on my uni block, you know, accommodation. So we'd hang out, Isaura and Retete, and then he told me we're trying to do this. And everyone was kind of like, you know, you're kind of funny, you know. You're kind of funny, you know. I'm like, really? Oh. Okay, all right.
Let me do this.
And then he was like, yeah, we want some content. And I was like, I'll write something for you guys. And I wrote something for them and I pitched it for them. And they really loved it. And, you know, people, but obviously it wasn't about to be made. I didn't know anything about writing like that in the sense of writing with a budget in mind. You know, you're just writing something like you've got a BBC budget for it, you know. And obviously it wasn't about to be made. So after that, I realized this is what I want to do. I genuinely been wanting to do that because I went on to a gap year, a forced one. Because in the sixth form, A-levels, I'm like, I'm about to go uni next year, and that's one of my unconditional offer. That will book on my res, that will, everything's done. That will about the deposit for my place. I get there, just literally 9 days before I start, they write me and they say you're ineligible for a student loan. No. Because I'd only been in the country for 2 years. So you have to be in the country for a minimum of 3 years. Dang you! You know, and then that was that. So, so in that year, that's when I was like, that's when I really developed that.
That's good.
So when I went there, now I had this kind of burning thing inside me. So much so that one of the first things I did when I moved there was look for open mic joints where I could start doing stand-up comedy.
That's good.
And I did my first stand-up comedy at some ACS event in Nottingham Trent then. Terrible. In fact, it was so terrible, it was so terrible, right, man? I see it's going so bad, man. You know, I dance too. and then I dance, and they're like, And then at the end of it, people are like, But you know what? You're a really good dancer. You should just stick to just
Just
dance, bro.
in the heart of London.
Just dance.
Uchipao. Is that what made you secure the place then?
You see what I mean? That's Deutschbau. International.
It was your first stage and you're like, But then he kept going.
Dead
What
fruit.
really made you keep going? Because there, I would have been like, let me just focus on my...
Anyway, student loan. One way or the other, student loan, it was a plan.
It was going to come.
You know what's interesting is Munashe is one of the few young Zimbabweans that are doing so well, so much in the community. I remember Tagaroa Project Hope, he was there, Winter Warmer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's when I began or got to understand more Taura Mona Munashe. I realized he's been doing Maiden's Way.
He's a co-founder.
Maiden's Way, co-founder. Vandazona Amazon. Then, actually speaking right now, there is a Bollywood movie.
Yeah. Time to Dance.
Cinemas.
Yeah.
What's the name of the...
Time to Dance.
Hey. Tell us about that. But you seem to have your cards figured out because you're
banking.
It's gonna be on Netflix. And,
The thing is, that movie was filmed so long ago.
No way.
We filmed that in 2018. We made that movie. Yakatorerwa pambini. Yeah. What? Joking, Mike. Saka, we did that in 2018. Is probably definitely the first role that I got. I didn't even meet the casting director or any of like the casting stuff on that project. It was so weird. It was so random. Shift wangu. Shift nditoro wantu wanengwe chembere yainetsa. Wantu wanengwe chembere ngakaputidzwa nedementia ingoda ngofamba but yanga iri frail.
Sit down.
Maggie Gani.
Can you come and sit down?
You know, and I'm chilling. I'm having one of those days, and my agent hits me up, and he was like, "Yo, what are your dates looking like between?" I think it was in July. It was mid-July to like early August, and I was like, you know, when your agent hits you up, and this was like 2 years since I'd graduated. I think I'd had like...
The way he's saying, you know, when your agent, it's you up.
we are
It's
not that deep. It's really not. It's really not. Saka, then for availability. No, and then it's like okay, keep your phone on you. It's like, do you remember that self-tape you did like some weeks back? I did some self-tape. It was so weird because they didn't even give me a script. They just said, can you do a tape for this character, Richard, important role, deadline for the tape is this day. And they gave me a reference of Eddie Murphy in Boomerang.
Wow.
And they said, can you just send us a clip of you laughing and just reacting, funny and just non-verbally. I looked at the brief and I was like, okay, well, that's a bit of a weird brief, but cool. I did what I did and sent it over, completely forgot about it. He was like, yeah, remember that self-tape? And I was like, all right, cool. They're like, yeah, they're interested. So I was assuming that they're going to call me in for like, it was a recall. Because most times, especially if you send in a self-tape, they're going to call you in and, they meet you and then they probably have other people. And then they're like, yeah, they keep an eye on your phone. I'm sending the contract soon. Boom, contract came. I was like, oh, snap. I had shifts the next week. I was like, hey, this is nice.
Holiday.
You just reminded me of we always laugh at this. You know when you do like the support living or whatever, and one of my other jobs that I did, my first jobs, ndakarova support iyoyo.
Yeah,
Saka
yeah.
there's a difference between support work necare work
HCA.
HCA. Saka agents inogona kufonera nditika yokudza uzoni supported living, support or whatever. Ask my wife. Pese pandaenda kwakanzi support ka ndinoenda bhuko kana ne agents unokuita ndarowa kana ndifanira kurowa kana 2 weeks nditone ma shifts ndichiti ambo ndobva ndasvika kuti chembiza mndara nechino ndati this is what I said ndafunda pakati support
And that's exactly that's
So would you actually go back home?
that's exactly
Sharon ari panapa
that's exactly what
You
it
just
is.
cancel.
handidzoke mangwana kuti hano kuti ndotodzoka padeni
Shopera.
amukadza mari ka kutsvaka imwe
I was not dealing with
Kutsvaka
those. It's just no, it's our cards. We just be like, okay, all right, let's do it, my napkin. What can we do?
There's a
Bro,
limit sometimes.
so, wow.
You always get tricked into it. You always get tricked into
Yeah,
it. I got
there's a
tricked
limit
into
to
it.
it.
But
And
it's
that's
ways
it.
of making money, guys. You know,
so I
life
was
in the
there.
UK, life in the
That's
diaspora.
what. Hey, listen, you got you. And listen, I've always said that when you come to the UK, especially from like Mazimba, and at a certain age, depending on when and how old you were when you come to the country. Unofanira ngoita pass through kanga baptism of fire, so unofanira ngopfura nemo imomo unofanira ngo
Munashe, you are the right
Ne-
person. Wabva nekupiko Munashe?
I'm telling you, and this
Ndakamborwa chimwe
some people might not want to admit it
Graft.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
Ndakamborwa chimwe chigraft che do you remember the industry, the bakery? Pai.
Yeah.
Industry unokuita ndakatoenda bobo chichipa pane boys ranga ritoripo raishanda so raripo ipapo saka ndasvika pa shift first day ndokuona boys rese rikurowa mbashto unokuita rowa mbanje so I'm thinking but vachashanda
Why?
sei
How are you going to work?
ndapinda mushift mdara ndapinda mushift pai then I realized 5 minutes into the shift kuti panapa kana usinotorwa mbanje kana something you're not going to last because ndeye kuti unenge uri pamachinery ndimuri kupeka chingwa
Okay.
saka mushina haudzime unoramba uchibika chingwa imi munofanira kuramba mushina saka unenge uiti uchiunza chingwa imi muchirwa muchirwa unenge uchifanira kuita kunge chirobot kudara ndakaenda one shift mangwana acho ndakarara mukadzi wangu akasvika akandimutsa so achibva kubasa akati balivai it's time to go to work ndati mari tinotsvaga imwe mukadzi wake Anyway, it's not about me. Carry on. You're just reminding me of some of the stuff that I've had to go through that I've done.
I mean,
But
it's true. You have to.
It's,
You
it's
have
part of
to.
the process. If
You
you don't have
have
that
to.
story, you're blessed.
You have
but
to.
some of us, we had to go
No,
through it.
no,
And so what happened then when you got the call or whatever to go to the
So
set?
yeah, so I get there. It was a completely because it's the first major production that I'd been on, and to be brutally honest, I didn't even know what to expect. I just get told you know coming to shoot this feature film, and even the way I'd gotten it, and I'm not even gonna lie, I don't size up Bollywood. I was like Bollywood, yeah. And I get to the joint and on the set, and it's like, yo.
My gates.
It's a set, like it's a set, and I've only graduated like a year and a half ago. The only credits I have so far are in theater.
Yeah.
And I haven't really done major screen roles like that or any screen job. And I was like, yo, there's at least 250 people just crawling on this set, extras, crew, like the whole stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is mad. And again, I haven't seen the script. I don't know what my character is saying. Everything is in Hindi. Everything. Everything. Tikne. Apniya. This is like the set. I'm like, yo. Because it's like they just brought a lot of the crew straight from India and they just come with them. And, you know, the crew they hire that's from the UK is drivers.
Okay.
Mostly. But grips, all of that.
Now you understand.
So I'm in there now. I'm like, yo, you know, I find the lady who's kind of like showing me where I'm at. You know, they take me to wardrobe. You know, I get fitted. The first day I'm lost.
Yeah.
And it's just, and it was hot.
Yeah. Chaos.
It was. I'm like, yo,
Proper
and then
food yangeri.
our food, we were having Indian, you know, OG, the real deal, you know. But I actually enjoyed the food.
Yeah.
The catering was great.
Good, yeah.
And it's only on the second day that I actually shot. And again, I get there, and on the second day, the director calls me on the side, just like, all right, cool. So your character, Richard, okay, Richard is meaning the king.
The king.
You are the king. Your character, Richard, you are the king. So he's saying like the name Richard means king, and so your character is like, so your character, you're representing the audience.
The audience,
right?
okay.
And it's like your character is the audience. You're there to drive the exposition of the film.
Okay.
Because this is like Bollywood ballroom. This is ballroom dance, Latin ballroom dance, foxtrot, tango.
From what?
No, I'm hearing. I want to watch a good city. This is your first read. Yes, king. And then he's like, okay, so because it's such a new dance form to the Bollywood audience, because Bollywood is contemporary and commercial dance, they don't really do the. I mean, no one would. If we watched a ballroom competition, we wouldn't even know who's winning.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was like, so your role is to break that exposition in the character. So when the characters that are interacting with me, so there's this one guy who I'm acting against, his name is Rajpal Yadav, who's like this big Indian cinema legend. You know what I mean? People say Rajpal Yadav.
Yeah.
And so I do all my scenes and everything I do it with him.
Nice.
And so I'm kind of like his buddy, and he's kind of, so he's telling me, he's like, okay, so Richard, you know what foxtrot is? And I'm like, I know. And then it's like, foxtrot is this dance and whatnot, and boom, boom, boom.
Wow.
So when he's explaining to my character, in essence, it's driving the exposition of the movie for the audience. Hence, it says, you know, and it's like, audience doesn't talk. They watch. So you are reacting and watching.
That's it.
Watching.
Watching, which is
And
watching.
I'm watching. Yeah, I'm like, okay. I'm like, I got you, my bro. I got you. It was a sick experience. It was a sick experience.
Do you know what? Like, what's getting me is from today on, I know not to get Munashe next to my girlfriend, because look at how my liver is crying from laughing. The way that she's crying now.
It's too much. Watching. That's what's got me today. Watching is watching.
So I do the item, you know, I'm like, okay, cool. And then I do the first scene, and the first scene I'm meeting these two other major characters, and I come on and do my thing. And fair enough, my character doesn't actually talk. So again, because that's he's saying, you're the audience, and I'm listening, and I'm there
watching
on the key points, and I'm just reacting with them. So now my task was to act like I can hear a single thing that's being said here. That's where my job was. And he was like, it's very hard. And I was like, okay, cool, I got it. So they kind of tell me, so okay, what's happening in this scene is we've met the two ladies who are their friends. You come, you go introduce yourself. You go introduce yourself to her, you do this, and then I tell you, no, that ain't it, and then you introduce yourself to her. And I'm like, okay, cool, sounds straightforward. And then I get there, and then I'm thinking he's just going to say something and introduce, and then he goes, and then he starts saying more stuff and extra, and then now I don't know where he's kind of said, and then now he just points to me, and I'm like, you know, and I don't know how well it was working. The people and the crew on set seemed to be like, oh, hey,
you're doing great.
Yeah, we like it.
That's amazing. You were not even saying a line or two. You were just.
I'm just, so now when they say, did you see that? I'm just like, I saw that. I saw that.
No, you didn't.
And I'm like, I don't know.
That's amazing.
That's interesting.
It's a fun experience.
Of course, uku ndoku proper chichichi kune magetsi watu chichi then kova kwazoitawo kwedu kunoku isusu tichiri kutanga nechichichi kuya ndakakuona uchirova chimwe chiadvert so wamboona chimwe chiadvert cheredemption bar wageza here iwewe nesipo that one however today we're not talking about redemption bar ndiri kuzoti pane pane chiseries chinyowani chiri kuuya which is why you are here today.
Now you would know about that.
The Real Housemaids of Zimbabwe,
Yes.
which will be screening manje so I think for next week papa or something pane zvoda kuitika pane zvoda
all right.
Sounds
just tell us a bit about the Real Housemaids of Zimbabwe. What's happening? Chichine chitika.
Okay, so the one thing that a lot of people quote when they see me and they say, and it never gets old. It never, for me, it never gets old when people come and say, man, this thing, this video, okay, and this, and the one video that people always come and talk about is the housemates. Like, what, everyone goes nuts, and I'm glad that it was received that well.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, my fans I've been quiet.
You're going to deliver.
Because I've been working on other things that aren't necessarily comedy and the things that people readily engage with, So to everyone else, Munashe has been is quiet. And then I thought, okay, you know what? If I'm going to come back and this
is your deliver. Yeah.
Let me give them something that I feel like I can really make something out of it, like flesh it out, and something that's multi-dimensional, and something that's also original. I know the housemaid trope is a very outplayed trope in Zimbabwean comedy. But also it's that way for a reason, because there's so much content to get out of it.
Exactly.
But I was just thinking of an original way to approach that subject. And I thought, okay, let's do a reality TV show around our housemaids. So we've got Real Housemaids of Zimbabwe.
Awesome.
And
I'm looking forward to it.
I won't lie.
I'm looking forward to it. But number to that break. So we'll be right back.
Because the Munashe are kupisa
So we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Diaspora with the MANATSAS. Now that we are back, pane ka temperature kawanga uchitaura karoda kupisa so the Real Housemaids of Zimbabwe. Tell us a little bit about,
So obviously, like I was saying, because it's the one sketch that people seem to resonate a lot with. I thought, let me give you something long form, and that's gonna be coming out very soon. All I have to say is your favorite characters back in one place. And people always say to me, Sisfebe Vidachka. Yeah, mama, I took my days off. That lady. And people always say, she lies.
Yeah, anonyeba uya.
The thing is, people are going to come to realize kuti zvoni atori munyama. That's the plot twist. And so many more plot twists. I strongly recommend that you subscribe. Stellah Entertainment, all of across the YouTube,
The honor is ours.
Instagram.
Stellah Entertainment. We got the pleasure of working with Munashe.
So you see what you were saying, I should have accused of
Imagine, yeah, you see?
kula,
Now,
and
yeah.
now it turns
The
out
gliding guy.
The gliding guy.
Behind the scenes, I just got a chance. Ndakangowanirwa favor. Mwari akasimudza iye penina aripo.
Saka ndiani penina pana.
We'll get to that. Kochiko dewe hatina kubatese kumba here.
Who is Penina?
Anyway, andikuona zvandikutoona mukadzi wangu Munashe panapa nacho. Isusu panapa tine tradition yedu. Let's talk diaspora kuti kana muenzi wedu achinge atitsika kudai so imimi muri kurepresenta muri kusimudzira nyika kudai so we have sponsors thanks to World Remit vatendera kuti tinge tichiita zvatiri kuita izvi ndo vari kupa kuti zviite but we appreciate World Remit. We also have Vit Grocery.
Okay.
Vit Grocery shop avaka. Vanisha zvema groceries, vano specialize nema groceries ku Zimbabwe for people to buy for their loved ones. Uri kunoku unongo wire so ukangodada ukangoenda online vane app everything. Zvakarongeka. Zvakarongeka. Saka ivawo ve Vit manja. Ma details avaturipo pa screen apa changa aripo vatiri vanhu veVit vavo. Vari kuti ivo kuna comedian mukuru kudai so. Chids uyu akakwanisa kutipawo game. Chids akutofamba mbiri yekudzona anotipa zvimubvunzo zvakaoma panapa tichitadza kuanza nemukadzi wangu.
The University Quiz Challenge.
Chids akakwanisa kutipawo game chi. We're going to get into a quick game.
Okay.
Against the MANATSAS.
Okay.
Unoziva zvinongoita kana waiswa in position of power. So instead yekuti ndingokuonawo semufesi wangu ndingokupawo grocery revhits kuti upewo ruda kupa. Ndakutokushandisa futi uchimbotanga waishandirawo.
Akuita chimbimbi ndo.
Andikuona.
You know. No, but ndizvozvo ngatitei.
Andikuona.
Tinoshanda mfunzo tinoshanda.
Saka Chidza uda kutotibuka kangotibuka chi. What have you got for us?
In a like competition.
All right.
So
Sunday. Today I'm ready, I think.
In today's game ranhasi ndenchikupai mazita, the original name mazita avo chaivo vanhu vakaacta. So like let's say for example ndikati Lazarus Bora munobva mati ndiani?
Gringo katomziva kaGringo.
Saka these guys they were involved in comedy dramas ku Zimbabwe. Since we have a comedian, we just have to also, do sort of comedy questions. Right. So are you ready?
Pachanakidza manje comedian achitadza mazita emamwe makomedian.
Maunandisa pa blast guys. Why?
Panapa iripo ndeyekudayo so ndikakupai clue munokwanisa kubvunza clue and clue inokwanisa kuzongokupai half a point haikupei full point.
All right.
Okay. Saka the first question inoenda kuna Munashe.
Okay.
Philip Gadzikwa Mushangwe. Philip Gadzikwa Mushangwe.
I feel like that's Mtiro Wafans.
No. Would you like to steal the MANATSAS?
To pay clue.
Aiwa, imam sipiwe clue uyu ndano actually no sorry ndina kana unokumbura clue.
Unokumbura clue. Alright, ndipewo clue.
Iro zino renyiri rakadaiwo so risingapore iri zino renyiri.
How can I the paraffin?
Yes.
Paraffin. That's terrible.
Away like that.
That's terrible. You know the thing is, I honestly thought that Chidzi was going to stump me and not give me something as so obvious as a paraffin. Okay.
But waunoti vhara iwo comedian wapiwa une half point.
Half point. Okay.
So let's get it on point.
The MANATSAS, your question, or no question. Your actor is Simon Shumba.
Yeah.
Ma.
Pakaipa.
Mati.
Tipeo clue.
Muda clue.
Yeah, tipeo uri kumzoeresa mucho.
Clue ava ndiwasu.
Sha. Clue yawapa Munashe kane clue ro ngangoti ndiwasu.
Kwasu chimanyika ndikobviro chitaure but
Asi mutiro wafanza.
yes. That was an easy. All right, Munashe, yours is Colin Dube.
Colin Dube. No, I feel like Colin Dube the Timmy of Timina Bones.
Nope.
Hey.
Can I have a clue? Oh, okay. Saka ndakataura does it mean kuti yatoti
Yangoti yaenda kasa inonezi unokwanisa kuizviita redemption.
Aubirira uona chidza
Ndavada kumwa redemption bar. You can redeem yourself kuti one a half point ndikakupa clue unless if you just want to pass.
All right, ndipe clue. Of course I'm going to take a half point if I can.
Plus Mariangu.
Ndi mbudzi yadhura.
Can we take that?
We take it.
Can we take that?
You can take it.
John Banda.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking. John Banda. I confused mbudzi yadhura na John
Baba is
Banda.
working us.
Oh my God. John Banda. That's
Wazofunga the one aka replace or
you know what I mean?
All
I
right.
was thinking of his crony. I don't know.
Saka the
I need to
MANATSAS
steal.
you've stolen
Tane
is
1
talked by
point.
1.5.
Tane 1
Vane
point. Tangorwa half point.
But still, I cannot be a half point.
Mastila.
All right.
Clue.
Mnupiwa half.
Okay. So
Tane 1
now
point. We are
Ian-
half.
All right.
okay, another one. Elizabeth Taderera. Elizabeth
Tipe
Taderera.
clue.
Mura clue.
Eh.
Okay. I clue in the Ekudai, so this one I have to action it.
Okay.
Sorry, Ogodona. Asi. Mira. Katarina.
Perfect.
I'm on fire. Ndukupisa. Katarina. Ndine mkomana wangu.
Tila.
All right.
Tane 1 and a half.
Okay. Now, so at the moment, the MANATSAS you are winning.
Tine 1 and a half.
But-
Munashe and a half.
Mune point
Mati.
extra.
1 and a half.
No, the MANATSAS you have 1, 2.5.
Oh.
Asakata
Win any
winners.
point.
Mato winners venue, but Munashe is a guest. This one can be a decider. So what was the yataita nonzi? Last go wins. Chiromama win.
Let's go in for
Last go wins.
Sky winner isusu.
Sky winners is
I'm
20.
going. I'm not winner, but itongo mpo chi
Last-
redeem.
all right, redemption.
Redemption
Bar.
Redemption bar.
Redemption bar. Isepa yebantu.
What's up?
This one, Ambo mentioned one before, but Asiri, and the blessing Chimoa.
Ndomziva yeye uyu.
Blessing
Uyu
Chimoa.
ndikutomziva. Pane vanhu vasingazive.
Pane munhu wachamenshina and akutongoita by process of elimination.
But you have one chance ukangodaidzirisa zviro tikuitora, we are stealing it. Uyu ndikutomuziva.
Shandisa ko clue yako
Aiwa ndishandisa clue yangu ndingabva ndazotadza kuti 1 point.
Ndikutomuziva.
Sudden death Mira.
Uyu ndikutomuziva.
Ndimbudzi yadhura.
Exactly.
Ndandimuziva. Ndomuziva kani. You know the thing is right, wakauya pashow yevanhu when you come to people's show.
Yeah.
Uri muenzi. Auzo wakaenda kumba kwavanhu vakati titambe tsoro kana makadzi hauvadyi. You don't do that. Unodzingwa. Next time pakauya unonyimwa tea nemabiscuits.
Nema-buns.
You know,
Saka
vanhu
scoreline
havazvinonaka.
yamira
Scoreline, since his last go wins, Munashe has won.
Thank you.
Hey,
Just
just like that.
Thank you.
Why is it baby we never win on this show?
No,
Apa
we
yakadzi,
won
let's talk
once.
with the MANATSAS.
We'll redeem ourselves. Redemption bar. Next week.
Redemption.
Anyway, it's been a pleasure having you, Munashe.
Thank you.
Before you go, Munashe, actually, guys, go follow Munashe. Munashe ari kupisa. But there's some good stuff that's,
Fire. Follow me pa Munashe Chirisa across all platforms. Follow Maiden's Way.
Yes. Ko jumper rangu waunzere shama.
Listen, Majamba, the thing with Majamba is akapera. They sold out, but hear me out. They're back. They're back in stock.
National television
Maiden's Way. Mira iwewe. Iwewe unobhadhara. Iwewe
chidzona autonyeka background.
Ndakudzai, I'll never let Munashe anywhere near my girl if I had one.
You didn't get what I was about to say.
Okay.
That iyo unobhadhara. Don't that yo unobhadhara. No mandati chi, but tikubudisa chi my baby sizes at chapa chi Levi mahara.
Okay, yeah.
Levi ane favor nje.
Levi ane, yeah.
Atwanere.
Ko Omar.
Mariese.
Guys, no. It's been epic, seriously. Go follow Munashe. Go follow Vitz. Man, we Vitz vane chihampa chiri kuuya chamuchapiwa namunashe anga achifunga kuti hampa iro iri kuenda kwaari asi kuti manje adzva hampa iro riri kuuya kwamuri. Just go and like Vitz grocery shop. Manzwa, go and like it. The details are on the screen. Go and like it, follow it.
You know what? If you like it and then you follow Maiden's Way and then you tag Maiden's Way in your like, I don't know, maybe it might bolster.
Stellah Entertainment.
It might. Stellah food. You might. You might. I don't know.
It's been awesome. We look forward to seeing you, or rather to seeing you on our screens and having you back in the studio.
Thank you very much.
Any final words before Munashe goes? Or?
No, it's been a pleasure. And yes, in Nditori Popa Maiden's Way playlist.
Oh, yeah.
Saga. Do follow Nditori Po ndakapinda.
Yo,
Mama monye papo.
Oh yes, again guys, like the Maiden's Way playlist, another dope initiative. The definitive sound of like playlist of Zimbabwean music by dope artists around the world. Hip hop, gospel, dancehall, anything, Mchongoya, if it's by Zimbabwean artists, if it's dope, you'll find it there on all digital platforms. Guys, there's so much I could say. I didn't have to do any episode.
Actually, tudoti asazvamboitika pashuo panapa. Tudoti iwo ukombere handitika. But uri kukombera show yanhasi. Sa noza sisi vave vane mnyama. Kana dai wangori ndi uri kukombera show iwo vai. Vanonzani iwo vai.
Anonzi Netsai.
Netsai ndi ari kukombera show.
Netsai.
Tivhariro kashow kuti utiudze kuti zvakamira sei.
Nandangokutendai zvangu kuti maya kuzona show yedu nhasi talking with the MANATSAS, but let's talk diaspora mfunge, because inini manje nawe yakanga yangoitika ndeyekuti pandanga ndichuya kunoku ndanga ndichida kupa episode yakanaka mfunge, but panzira yandasvika kudai ndanzonzi hanzizvoni baba vemudin'ina vangu kuti vamwe vacho vadikiri vacho vabamudiki vacho vekuzhombe hanzi kune huku here yavakadya yavakarasirirwa here kudini vakungoita chimuniku chiri kuvadina chipfuva chimuniku ichocho kana kuda kunwa mvura havasi kukwanisa nekuti chinokwanisa kuvakatidza havasi kukwanisa kudzikisa chikafu. Saka no ndanga ndongoti zvoni ndazosvika hangu ndakakwanisa kuita show yanhasi. Thank you very much MANATSAS. Thank you very much maringakukomborerei, but yes mozosubscribe ku Stellah tinenge tiri kumfunge. Thank you very much.
There you go, there you have it. That's Munashe for you. Thank you Munashe, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. See you next week.
Thank you. I want to say, I can't.